Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Bussy David and this is Life Stories with Bussy. I hope you've subscribed. I hope you've turned up your notification button. You know that subscribing would, encourage us to do more videos and all that. So please don't forget to subscribe. Today I have a mail from Ejiro. My name is Ejiro. I don't know if I'm obsessed with my wife or if this is love. My wife has hurt me so much and I don't know if I should take my wife back. I don't know whether for better for worse works in this matter. I slid into my estranged wife's DM 5 years ago. I was 32 and she was 24. Oyin is a beautiful girl, judging by all the pictures I saw on her social media. I shot my shots and we started chatting. She was running an event company then. She seemed to have her head properly screwed on her neck. She seemed that she was a good girl and she seemed good at what she did. She had celebrities as clients, she was successful, she was flamboyant, and all that endeared her to me. Then we decided to meet. But before we finally fixed a date for our dates, I went for an event. And voila! There she was looking very radiant and attending to some guests. I didn't approach her immediately. I wanted to observe her first in her natural habitat. I noticed an elderly guy who was always around her, talking to her, touching her hair, generally doting on her. I didn't know where to place the man because I remember she had clearly said she had no boyfriend. I allowed the date to go, and when I was leaving, I went and introduced myself to her. She was shocked initially, but her voice and smile made me forget about the elderly man. This girl must have really been a beauty. So we went for our date and many more dates. She claimed the man was a toaster who wouldn't take no for an answer. I understood the elderly man's preoccupation of her. I wasn't ready to take no for an answer too. We started our relationship and I was ready to spoil her silly. I had money, at least I believed I had money. I wasn't doing too badly in my real estate business. I was also into oil and gas. I realized she wasn't all that successful as her pictures portrayed. Most of the parties she claimed she organized was her providing ushers to parties. And because she had good rapport with some of the event managers and photographers, she had permissions to use their pictures to build her own social media pages to woo other prospective clients. I threw some events away and got few of my friends to use our services. I started putting pressure on her to marry me because a lot of men showered her a lot of attention. She introduced me to her dad and stepmother. Her dad is a very boisterous man, talking 9 to dozen. He kept asking if I was comfortable enough to marry his daughter. He said I should look at how her skin was, that it cost a lot to maintain it. He said he hopes I was ready to take her on an expensive vacation. I told him I was equal to the task. I proudly read out the resume of his soon-to-be son-in-law, and I could tell the man was impressed. In all of this talk, her stepmom didn't say much. She was just throwing in little smiles from time to time. I should have known that everything wasn't all right then. To assure Oyin's father I was capable, I bought Oyin a new Lexus Jeep and bought Oyin's father a Benz. Hey God. Okay, so we started the wedding preparations and she was always in my apartment. I was near her phone one day. She was in the kitchen when a credit alert dropped on her phone. I took her phone, not because I wanted to snap. I saw a 10 million naira alert from a name of a northerner. I called her attention to it, and she didn't seem pleased I checked the phone. I apologized to her, but I was curious to know if it was for an event. She said it was. I wanted to know the specifics of the event. And she got upset. She was like, why must I explain everything that happens in my business to you? I've told you it's for an event. I don't have to tell you the details. I didn't bother to go on pestering her. I investigated and realized the man was the same man doting over her at the first event where I met her. The man was a businessman in the north. I waited for an event to happen, but it never did. So the event she said was going to happen never happened. I reported the incident to her father, and her father was really upset with me for checking his daughter's phone. He said, "You are not married yet, and you are checking her phone. When you marry, nko? Can't men send that money?" He also said, since Oyin has said it was for an event, I should accept it. Now, I was madly in love with her, and I just thought, maybe when we get married, all this trash will stop. We got married, and I had to travel out for a business after our honeymoon. I remember asking her to follow me, but she said she had an event to plan. She showed me some messages about a plan for a 40th birthday, and I said it was fine. The week after, I was still out. I saw some pictures of a Dubai party online. And in that pictures, I saw my wife in the background somewhere. I quickly called her number, and she said she was in a meeting. I told her I wanted to have a video chat with her. She said she would call me back later. She never called back until the next day in the night. I said, "Oyin, I saw you at a party in Dubai." She said she wasn't the one. I showed her the pictures. She said, yes, she agrees the person looks like her, but she wasn't the person. I showed the pictures to my friend. They quickly recognized the person as my wife, but she said she wasn't the one. I asked her for her passport. She said she left it in the office. The next day, I dropped her at the office and told her to go and get her passport. She threw a tantrum, and she said I was becoming annoying, trying to play Sherlock Holmes. She refused to bring the passport. She refused to bring a passport. Then I went to her father. He said, "Ejiro, what is it? Why are you always doubting your wife?" The man said I was becoming annoying, doubting Oyin's every move. He said, "Meji ni Ọlọ́run dé ènìyàn," meaning God created us in pairs, and that must be Oyin's look-alike. Later, I noticed she hadn't had a menstrual flow for about 2 months, and I brought it up. She said maybe it was late. I told her we might need to go for a test. We did, and they confirmed she was pregnant. I was overjoyed. She didn't seem exactly happy. I figured it could take her some days to adjust to the fact that she was pregnant. I was so protective of her at this point. She said I was becoming overbearing, I was becoming too loving, and she didn't like it. I put it down to being irritated because she was pregnant. There was a day she didn't realize I was home, and I heard her speaking on the phone, and she kept saying, "Tell Chief, I'm not going to collect 2 million. I can't deliver with such money." I started to wonder what she was selling and what she was being paid for. I knew something was not right, so I decided to bug her phone. What I saw almost ran me mad. Yes, she was in Dubai when I traveled, and different men were sending money to my darling wife. She was meeting them at different places, including that Alhaji who sent her 10 million. She was also pimping girls. All those are so-called ushers. She was pimping them to these old men. I also discovered she just bought a house in Lekki in her father's name. When I confronted her with all this evidence, she went ballistic. She was yelling on top of her voice that she was done with the marriage. I told her all I needed was the truth. She said she wasn't saying anything, that I should believe what I wanted to. She started packing few things inside the bag. I asked her where she was going to. She said she didn't owe me any explanation. I pulled the bags from her hands, and then she landed me a slap. Hey. She started shouting for help on top of her voice. I told her she wasn't going anywhere until she told me what I wanted to hear. Then she started screaming and breaking things. Her noise had aroused the curiosity of the neighbors, who called the police. The police insisted I had to let her go if she felt that she was under any threat from me. So she left. Shortly after, her dad summoned me. I didn't go. He called me and lashed out at me. He said his daughter was done without marriage and she was sending people to come and get her things out of the house. Later, I was told that she lost the pregnancy. But because I had bugged her phone, I had seen that she told another person that she had gotten rid of the pregnancy. Some months later, I saw her stepmother at the bank. She greeted me nicely and she didn't say anything. When I brought up Owen's topic, she simply said, Ejiro, you're a good guy. You wouldn't like my response to this because I can see you love Owen. I suggest you go and find yourself a woman who loves you. That's the only thing I can say. Please don't quote me. I knew she wanted to say more, but she was restraining herself from saying anything. It's been 2 years all that happened. I kept calling and she didn't pick. I wasn't allowed into her father's house. And she had stopped running her business from the office I knew. I was trying to get my life together. Getting my life together was tough. I really loved Owen. And I believed she would come back so we could try to work things out. But she never came back. I started dating a pleasant, simple lady I met on the plane on my last trip to South Africa. Owen showed up 2 weeks ago in my office and she's been begging me for us to work on our marriage. She was looking a former shadow of herself. She said she had learned her lesson and given her life to Christ. The truth is, I still love her, but I'm confused. What do you think I should do? I know people will say, oh, she's changed, forgive her. Someone deliberately breaks your heart, rends your heart into pieces. 2 years. It took her 2 years to understand that. It took her 2 years before she came back. I don't know. If you ask me, if you ask me, I'll say, close that chapter and start a new life. But I don't know what the viewers would have to say. Because, you know, people will say that marriage is sacred and all that. But do we need to play with people's love? Do we need to break people's heart? I don't know. What do you think? What do you think Ejiro should do? Do you think he should take Owen back? Or do you think he should just start a new life afresh? You know, he should just start his life all over again. What do you guys think? I'll be in the comment section. Let's talk about this. So next time when I come your way again. Before you leave, please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Thank you.